What if I told you that right now, sitting in your kitchen, you have something that can keep a room warm all night long, and it costs less than $1? No gas, no wood, no electricity bill. Just one simple ingredient that humans have been using for thousands of years, and almost nobody talks about it anymore. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you're going to look at your salt shaker very differently. Now, before you scroll away thinking this is some kind of joke or clickbait, give me just 60 seconds, because what I'm about to share with you is rooted in real chemistry, real physics, and something that people in some of the coldest parts of the world have quietly known for a very long time. This is not a magic trick. This is science. And once you understand how it works, you'll wonder why no one ever taught you this in school. Let's start with a question. Have you ever touched a hand warmer? You know those little packets you shake and suddenly they get hot. Have you ever wondered what's actually happening inside them? There's no flame, there's no battery, there's no power cord, but they produce real usable heat, sometimes for hours. That's not magic, that's chemistry. And salt, common table salt, works on a very similar principle when you understand how to use it correctly. Here's the thing most people don't know. Salt doesn't just sit there doing nothing. Salt is one of the most chemically active substances in your home. It reacts with water, it reacts with temperature, it stores energy and releases it. And when you combine salt with certain very simple, very cheap materials in the right way, you can create a slow, sustained release of heat that lasts for hours. We're talking about a process called an exothermic reaction, a reaction that releases heat as it happens. And salt is right at the center of some of the most accessible versions of this reaction that you can do at home without any special equipment. By the way, if you're finding this interesting already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now. This channel covers real, practical, science-backed ideas about money, resources, and the everyday economy, things that actually affect your life. You don't want to miss what's coming next on this channel. Now back to the salt. Let me give you some context that will make this feel even more real. Think about where salt comes from. It comes from the earth, from the ocean, from ancient dried-up seabeds buried deep underground. Humans figured out thousands of years ago that salt was valuable, not just for flavoring food, but for preserving it, for trading it, for surviving harsh winters. Roman soldiers were reportedly paid partly in salt. That's where the word salary comes from. Salt was so important that wars were fought over it. Cities were built near salt deposits. Entire trade routes existed just to move salt from one place to another. So why is salt this powerful? It comes down to its molecular structure. Salt, or sodium chloride if you want to get technical, is made of two elements, sodium and chlorine, that are bonded together very tightly. When those bonds interact with other substances, especially water, energy is released. This is not theory. This is measurable, real, documented heat. Scientists have studied it, engineers have used it in industrial heating systems, and now with energy prices rising all over the world, regular people are starting to pay attention again. Here's something that will really make you think. In parts of rural Europe, Asia, and even South America, people have been using salt-based heat storage methods for generations, not because they read about it in a science book, but because they discovered it by accident, passed it down through families, and kept using it because it worked. Your grandmother's grandmother might have known about this, but somewhere along the way, as gas lines got built and electric heaters became cheap, this knowledge got buried. It got forgotten. And now, with energy bills hitting record highs in countries all over the world, people are desperately searching for alternatives, and the answer has been sitting in their kitchen cabinet the whole time. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, okay, salt gets warm when it reacts with water, that's fine, but how does that actually heat a room? That's a fair question. And that's exactly what we're going to get into next. Because the real secret isn't just the salt alone, it's how you use the salt. It's the system around it. It's the combination of materials and the way you set them up that turns a simple chemical reaction into something that can genuinely, measurably warm a space overnight. And that's where things get really interesting. So let's talk about how this actually works, because understanding the science is what separates someone who tries this and fails from someone who tries this and stays warm all night. And I promise you, this is not complicated. You do not need a chemistry degree. You do not need special equipment. You just need to understand a few simple principles, and then everything clicks into place. The first principle is heat storage. This is a concept that engineers call thermal mass. The idea is simple. Some materials absorb heat slowly and release it slowly. Others absorb heat fast and lose it fast. Think about a brick wall versus a thin piece of plastic. If you heat both of them with the same amount of energy, the brick wall stays warm for hours after you remove the heat source. The plastic cools down in minutes. Salt, especially when it is prepared and used correctly, behaves more like that brick wall. It holds on to thermal energy and releases it gradually over a long period of time. That slow, steady release is exactly what you want when you are trying to heat a room through a cold night. Now here's where the salt gets even more interesting. There is a specific version of salt that scientists and engineers have studied extensively for heat storage purposes. It is called a phase change material. Phase change materials, or PCMs, are substances that absorb a massive amount of energy when they melt and then release that same energy slowly as they solidify again. Certain salt compounds, particularly what are known as salt hydrates, are among the most efficient phase change materials that exist in nature. They are cheap, they are non-toxic, they are stable, and they can store and release heat in a way that synthetic materials costing 10 times as much simply cannot match. You might be wondering what a salt hydrate is. It is simply a salt molecule that has water molecules chemically attached to it. When you heat this material, it melts and absorbs energy. When it cools down, it slowly releases that energy back as heat. This is not the salt in your kitchen exactly, but the principle is the same family of chemistry. And the reason this matters is because it tells you something important about ordinary salt too. Even regular sodium chloride has thermal properties that most people completely ignore. When you heat a significant quantity of salt to a high temperature, say in an oven or over a fire, it stores that heat and releases it much more slowly than water, air, or most other common materials. Let me give you a comparison that will make this concrete. Water has what scientists call a specific heat capacity of about 4.18 joules per gram per degree Celsius. That sounds like a lot, and for a liquid, it actually is. But certain salt compounds have specific heat capacities that allow them to store energy in a completely different way, through phase change, which means they can hold on to the equivalent of hundreds of joules per gram while they are transitioning between solid and liquid states. That is energy that gets released back into your room slowly and steadily over hours. This is why industrial facilities use salt-based thermal storage systems to manage energy. This is why solar power plants in hot deserts store the sun's energy in tanks of molten salt so they can keep generating electricity even after the sun goes down. The same principle, the same material, just applied at a different scale. Now let's bring this back down to your home, because all of that science means something very practical for you. Here is the basic method that people have used for generations, explained in the simplest possible way. You take a substantial quantity of ordinary salt. We are talking about 1 kilogram or more, not just a pinch. You heat it in a heavy pot or pan in your oven or over a stove at a high temperature. You let it absorb as much heat as possible. Then you transfer it carefully, safely, into an insulated container. A clay pot works well, a cast iron vessel works well, something with thermal mass that will hold the heat in. You wrap it appropriately, you place it in the room, and that salt, slowly and steadily, radiates heat back into the air around it for hours. The reason this works better than just heating a pot of water is exactly what we talked about. Salt holds heat longer. It releases it more evenly. It does not cool down in 30 minutes the way a hot water bottle does. Done correctly, a properly prepared salt heat pack can release warmth for 6, 8, even 10 hours, depending on the quantity, the insulation, and the ambient temperature of the room. People in cold climates who have used this method report that a single preparation before bedtime keeps a small room noticeably warmer through the night. And here is the economic angle, and because this is an economics channel and we do not forget about money, let us talk about what this actually costs. 1 kilogram of ordinary table salt costs somewhere between 50 cents and $2 depending on where you live and where you buy it. The energy you use to heat it, whether that is a brief burst of oven heat or stove heat, is a fraction of what it would cost to run an electric space heater for 8 hours. An average electric space heater running all night can add several dollars to your electricity bill per night. Over a winter month, that is a significant expense. The salt method, by contrast, uses a short burst of energy to charge the salt, and then that stored energy does the work slowly over the rest of the night, for free. Now, before you run to your kitchen and start heating salt on your stove, there are important things you need to know about doing this safely and effectively. Because like any heat source, this method has to be done correctly. The temperature you heat the salt to matters. The container you use matters, the insulation matters. And there are specific ways to set this up that maximize the heat output and minimize any risk. This is where the real practical knowledge comes in, and this is exactly where we are going next, because knowing the science is one thing. Knowing how to actually do it, step by step, safely in a real home, that is what makes the difference between a theory and a tool you can actually use tonight. There is also something bigger happening here that I want you to think about. The fact that something this simple, this cheap, and this effective has been largely forgotten. What does that tell you? It tells you something about how our economy works. It tells you something about who benefits when you pay high energy bills every month. It tells you something about the knowledge that gets pushed aside when cheaper, more convenient options become available, and then suddenly becomes relevant again when those options become unaffordable. Salt has not changed. The chemistry has not changed. What has changed is that energy is expensive again, and people are hungry for real solutions. And that is a pattern we see over and over in economic history. Old knowledge becomes new again when the economic conditions demand it. So let us get into the practical side of this, because everything we have talked about so far, the chemistry, the physics, the economics, it all leads to this moment, the moment where you actually understand how to use this in your real life. And I want to be very clear here. This is not about replacing your entire heating system overnight. This is about having a real working option that costs almost nothing and that you can start using immediately, especially on those nights when the temperature drops hard and fast and you just need something that works. Here is the method broken down simply. You start with a heavy-bottomed pan or pot. Cast iron is ideal because it holds heat extremely well. You pour in your salt, regular table salt or coarse salt, both work. You want enough volume to make a difference, so at least 1 kilogram, ideally more. You place this on your stove over medium heat and you let it heat up slowly. Stir it occasionally. You are not trying to burn it or melt it. You are simply loading it with as much thermal energy as possible. This process takes about 20 to 30 minutes. The salt will stay dry. It will not boil. It will not smoke. It will just quietly absorb heat, the same way a brick absorbs heat when the sun shines on it all day. Once the salt is thoroughly heated, and you can tell because it will feel intensely warm even if you hover your hand a few inches above the surface, you carefully transfer it into your chosen container. A thick ceramic pot with a lid works beautifully. A clay pot is even better. The goal is a container with its own thermal mass, something that adds to the heat retention rather than letting it escape. You place the lid on top. You can wrap the entire container in a thick towel or blanket to add insulation. Then you place it in the room you want to warm. In a small bedroom, a single preparation like this can raise the ambient temperature noticeably and maintain it for hours. Now let us talk about some important safety points. Always use a container that is heat safe. Never use plastic, thin glass, or anything that could crack or melt under sustained high heat. Make sure children and pets are kept away from the container, or it will be very hot to the touch for the first hour or two. Place it on a heat-resistant surface. A ceramic tile, a thick wooden board, or a stone surface works well. And never leave any heat source completely unattended without understanding how it behaves first. The first time you try this, stay awake for the first hour, observe how warm the container is, how quickly the heat is radiating, and make adjustments accordingly. Safety always comes first. The method is simple and low risk when done correctly, but like any heat source, it deserves respect. Now here is something that makes this even more interesting. Salt is not the only material in your kitchen that has these properties, but it is one of the most effective and most accessible. Researchers and engineers who study thermal energy storage have ranked various common materials by their heat retention ability, and salt, particularly in larger quantities, consistently outperforms most everyday alternatives. Sand holds heat reasonably well, rocks hold heat well, water holds heat well but releases it too fast and cools down quickly when exposed to air. Salt hits a sweet spot. It is dense enough to store significant energy. It releases that energy slowly enough to matter through a cold night. And it is cheap enough that the economic case is almost impossible to argue against. Let us run the numbers one more time because the economic picture here is genuinely striking. In the United States, the average cost of running a 1,500 watt electric space heater for 8 hours is somewhere around $1.80 to $2.50 depending on your local electricity rate. That does not sound like much on a single night, but multiply that by 30 nights in a month and you are looking at $50 to $75 added to your bill just for one small heater in one room. Over a 5-month winter, that is $250 to $375 for one room. Now compare that to the salt method. Your initial investment in salt is $2 to $4 for a kilogram of coarse salt that you can reuse many times. The energy cost to heat the salt on your stove for 20 to 30 minutes is a fraction of running a space heater all night. We are talking about savings that could realistically add up to hundreds of dollars over a single winter season. And this is exactly the kind of thing that this channel exists to talk about, because the economy affects all of us. Energy prices affect all of us. And the gap between people who know these kinds of practical science-backed strategies and people who do not, that gap shows up directly in their bank accounts at the end of every month. Knowledge is not just interesting. Knowledge is financial power. Knowing that you have a viable, working alternative to expensive electric heating changes your relationship to your energy bill. It gives you options. And in an economy where options are increasingly expensive, having free ones is genuinely valuable. Let us also zoom out for a moment and think about what this represents on a bigger scale. Around the world right now, Hundreds of millions of people are facing energy insecurity. In developing countries, in rural areas, in cities where energy infrastructure is unreliable, people are cold, children are cold, elderly people are cold, and expensive modern heating solutions are completely out of reach for them. But salt is everywhere. Salt is one of the most universally available substances on Earth. The knowledge of how to use it for heat storage is not patented. It is not locked behind a paywall. It belongs to everyone. And sharing that knowledge, spreading it, making it accessible, has real human consequences that go far beyond saving money on a monthly electricity bill. There are communities right now in Eastern Europe, in parts of South Asia, in rural South America, where this kind of thermal mass heating using salt and other common materials is being rediscovered and taught, not by corporations, not by governments, by regular people sharing information with each other. Because when energy becomes expensive or unavailable, human ingenuity finds a way. And the solutions it finds are often the oldest solutions, the ones that worked before electricity, before gas pipelines, before the modern energy system that we now all depend on so completely. This is why economic history matters. This is why understanding how things worked before the systems we take for granted existed gives you a real edge. Because systems fail, prices spike, winters come unexpectedly, and the person who knows 3 different ways to stay warm is in a fundamentally different position than the person who only knows one. Diversifying your knowledge, the same way you diversify your finances, is one of the most underrated strategies for long-term resilience. So here is what I want you to do right now. First, try this. Seriously. On the next cold night, heat up a kilogram of salt, put it in a ceramic pot with a lid, wrap it in a towel, and put it in your bedroom. Notice what happens. Notice how long the warmth lasts. Notice what it costs you. Then come back here and tell me about your experience. Did it work? How long did the heat last? What container did you use? Your real-world results are genuinely valuable, not just to me, but to every other person watching this video who is curious but not yet convinced. Second, share this video. I mean that seriously. Think about someone in your life right now who is struggling with energy bills. Think about a family member who lives alone and keeps the thermostat low because they cannot afford to run it all night. Think about a friend in a cold climate who is looking for ways to cut costs this winter. Send them this video. Not because I am asking you to help this channel grow, though that does help, but because this information is genuinely useful to real people right now. Practical knowledge shared between people is one of the oldest and most powerful forms of wealth distribution, and it costs you nothing except 30 seconds to hit the share button. And if you have not subscribed yet, please do it right now. This channel is built on one simple promise: real information, real economics, real strategies that affect your real life. No hype, no fake numbers, no promises we cannot back up. Just honest, useful, well-researched content delivered consistently. Hit subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss a video. Because what we covered today is just the beginning. There is an entire world of forgotten economic knowledge, practical science, and money-saving strategies that this channel is going to keep bringing to you. One video at a time. The salt has been sitting in your kitchen your whole life. Now you know what it can do.